GM Dabblers, Kale here, Community Manager at Dabl Club. Happy to have you join us for our next session of Agent Camp. Appreciate all the ambition and all the learning that everyone's been diving into this. We've seen a lot of activity in our Dabl Club Telegram, which if you're not in there yet, that's at dabl.chat. That'll jump you right into there. Strong reminder that the Polygon Grants season is currently live and open for application all the way through April. It's a long submission window here, but the sooner you get your application turned in, the sooner that team can start reviewing it. There are 3 tracks currently related to AI and the same exact very things that we've been learning over the last couple of weeks with everybody here. So I strongly recommend that you take a look at that, think about the idea that you've been working on, and figure out if maybe submitting an application to that Polygon Grants feels right for you. We do have a survey put together that I'll be sharing throughout today's session. Mel, Colin, and myself are very excited to see the progress that everybody's been making on their particular builds. A lot of chatter again in that Telegram, answering those one-on-one questions and helping get past blockers. But we're ready to see what you've accomplished. And so if you're in a position to share or showcase, we'll happily discuss that and get you in a position where you can share the progress with the rest of the community here. But even if you're not someone that wants to get on camera or on the show and necessarily demonstrate in front of everybody, we'd still love to take a look at your GitHubs, your repos, your Twitter profiles if you've deployed an agent to Twitter or to Farcaster, or anything else that you've done as a result of what you've been learning on Agent Camp here lately. So again, this is Kale here at Dabl Club. I'm so proud of everybody for all the dabbling that you've been up to. I was cranking myself actually this weekend on my laptop, and my gosh, this is so much to learn and absorb. And so I'm very excited to see how much progress everyone else has made. But without further ado, let me go ahead and pull the whole team up here. We'll say our welcomes, and then as always, Mel will start diving us into the infinite garden. Colin, Mel, how are we doing today?
Well, hello. Hi, everyone. Excited to have you guys on for another call. I flew to Texas last week to spend time with family. And when you travel, you know you're disconnected from the internet for a little bit. And while I was disconnected from the internet, I saw the meme coin market tank, and I saw the traditional markets tank, and a lot of the buzz has been around new AI models. And the reason the market is having a day today is because China's a company released DeepSeek, and DeepSeek is a new AI that's kind of kicking butt and taking no names, and it's kind of impressed some people that there's a new AI on the block. That said, there also this last weekend we hosted an event with our friends from the Sentient Foundation, and so I thought I'd share a little bit about that and why we jumped on board with promoting a hackathon. You may have gotten an email from me inviting you to the Dabl open source AI hackathon. And so this past Saturday, we had an in-person hackathon to focus on building AI agents. I'll share my screen real quick just to show you guys the event. But I think it would be interesting to pay attention and see what's going on with new AI models like DeepSeek. Another one that I'd recommend you check out is Dabl. So we did this event, and we had something like, let's see how many guests we had. We had over 351 guests going to this event. And the event was around Sentient.Foundation. So I would definitely encourage you to check out Sentient.Foundation. They just launched their Adobe Dabl AI model, which is a loyalty model. Essentially, that model has ingrained into it loyalty to the owner of that model. So it's community built and community owned. Pretty cool project. So we did a hackathon with them last weekend. Hopefully we can get some of those folks to join our agent camp as well. And we'll have them in our demo day, hopefully. If you are looking for other resources that you want to go beyond Agent Camp, I also want to encourage everyone to go check out our website, dabl.club. We have a awesome page here called learn.dabl.club. So we have more course material on here. If you want to dive into Ethereum, we have the Ethereum Quick Start. We also have tons of blogs and videos on here. So all of our course material right now for this Agent Camp is on agentcamp.dev. So if you're just tuning in, go to agentcamp.dev and you can access all of the past recordings That's our most frequent question. Will you have access? So you can see all of our Agent Camp episodes, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We also have a Spanish language version of Agent Camp going on simultaneously. And if you're interested in that, you can go to agentcamp.xyz. XYZ, as they would say. So welcome to join our Spanish language course as well. And we'll be hosting more agent camps this coming month in New York, hosted along with Hadron's Founders Club. So Hadron Founders Club is a organization that helps startups grow at the early stage, and they help bring founders together. They have an amazing space in New York City, and so we'll be co-hosting with them. I'm excited to bring Hadron into the fold. If you have a startup and you're looking, you're in that pre-seed or seed phase, I encourage you to go apply for Hadron. So you can go apply right on their website. So one more form for everybody, but this group is similar to the Dabl Club in that they spun out of Polygon Labs. And so they are actually connected to the whole Polygon ecosystem, but not just Polygon. So I think it's really interesting. You can go fill out their application. It's a lot like applying to any accelerator or incubator. So also, finally, one last plug. I want to promote our grant program. So if you go to polygon.technology/grants, I leaked one. I didn't mean to leak that. Sorry, I'll bring up Bravado in a second. But Polygon community grants are live right now. We have 4 different tracks that are live and a 5th one coming soon. You can apply for any type of grant, as well as agent-focused grants with Eliza, Crossmint, and Gitcoin are all AI and meme coins. So it's very interesting to see where you can take whatever project you build with this camp, you can take and apply to one of these grant programs. We also have another special guest that will be coming up later this week. Polygon ID, who is also another spin out for Polygon Labs, is now Bravado ID. So Bravado ID also bought disco.xyz, and it's pretty exciting identity for AI agents. So we're gonna have some agent ID class later in the week, and I'm pretty excited to bring the Bravado team into the loop. I also want to say a big shout out to the Eliza team for building such a great product. If you are trying to build your own Eliza agent, that is what you are here for today. We did two classes last week on Eliza, and we got pretty darn deep. What are we going to talk about today, Mel?
So today we're going to go deeper into the plugin development. So we will work more focused on integrating blockchain and getting the wallet ready for, not this time not using AgentKit, but rather creating a new provider out of Blue, and we're going to copy pretty much the Polygon the EVM plugin, which is available as a community plugin, it's the default plugin on Eliza, just so you understand how the plugin gets created and how we inject external data into an agent's infra, so it's aware of the functionality that blockchain or any other API for that matter that you want to create, that your agent is aware of it and can actually use it. So we're going to go into plugin development. We're going to work a little bit deeper on how to get these agents to do evaluations and also do this kind of analysis and processing of interactions. So the focus for today will be, I had created a token launcher on Polygon Amoy, had deployed a lot already, and we will be integrating this token launcher in a way similar, if you've heard about Clanker, that you can just enter on Farcaster some information to a specific account, and it deploys a token for you. So we're gonna do that, in a very simple way without integrating Uniswap, but just like getting a token launched. And the idea is to make it a little harder for the user to get it. So let's see if we can make the agent get this like kind of sense if it likes you or not. And if it likes you, then it's gonna allow you to launch a token. And if not, well, sorry. I guess it will just refuse it. So that's like the overall structure. We will, like I said, go through to the Eliza plugin development. So We will create actions, which we kind of already reviewed on last Monday's call. We will create an evaluator, which is the more interesting kind of psychological approach of how the agent process the request or any interaction. And the provider, just an example of how to get the wallet integrated, which is quite simple. So that's the idea. I don't know if you wanna start with something, any question or anything, and we can start with something that actually is interesting for your deliverable. So I don't know, should we just go for it?
I think you're good to go, Mel. Yeah, we'll catch up with questions as they come along. Some are a little bit already operational, so I'll let you kind of get into the framework there and start the building process, and then we can bring some of these up here after the fact. But by all means, let's rock and roll.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So one of the things that we we want you to be able to do as part of your deliverables, of course, your idea is super important, and we want you to think about it and just have something that you are excited about building. But to go from that step, which you should already be more or less oriented towards, we would like you to also be able to communicate this not only for us, which is of course important for the evaluation and the tracks, but mostly so you can understand the different components that your agent is going to be interacting with, and you can actually start thinking on a much more programmer builder like approach, where you identify the different components, which ones you have to build, which ones you have to integrate, which ones maybe there's already something out there that you can use. So in this sense, it will also allow you to share this idea that you have in your mind, put it into kind of paper, that you just putting it down and share it with other people. So we will create a diagram of what we will be building today. So it's because we're going to start with our server, which is the Eliza server. And here's where the LLM lives, right? Let me see if I can make it. I suggest using something like Excalibur. It's a very Excalibur.com, very simple to use, diagram tooling or whatever. You're gonna look cool too if you do. It's like the cool people, the cool builders are using this. So yeah. So we have our server, Eliza, right? But we want to add blockchain functionality. So, we already have like all of this stuff in our, in our agent, and we can define that as plugins. So it's part of our plugin library sorts. And this is tied to our to our Eliza server. And of course, we have a lot of other stuff. We have the RAG, the system for retrieval augmented generation. We have the agent, the character, and a lot more stuff that are part of the Eliza overall repo. So I'm just gonna put this together in a small, in a larger box, and let's just say change this. So we all know that this is all part of Eliza per se, and where we are working mostly. But now we also want to add blockchain functionality, correct? So to interact with the blockchain, we probably, let's say, the Polygon Amoy blockchain right here. And let's say we have a contract. And in this case, we want to create a contract that's a token launcher. So let's say ERC20 token launcher. So it's basically a factory contract. And of course, this has to be tied with a proper ERC20 token contract, which we're going to call launch token in ERC20. So these two together work in tandem. Whenever the ERC20 token launcher has its specific functions, has its specific, that's a whole other course that you, like Colin mentioned, you can learn more about it on the Learn platform. If you've never touched a lot of the Solidity or any other smart contract development platform, that's a good way to start. There's plenty of resources. For us, it's going to be very simple. We're going to use an ERC20 token, which is just a very basic ERC20. We're not going to do anything special with it. But for the ERC20 token launcher, of course, we need to be able to tap into this launch token and make sure that there, as a factory contract, it just deploys whenever it gets the proper function call. And who's going to call this is going to have to be the server, which is Eliza. So we need to link these two together. We need to link this Eliza server, which is living in Railway in this case, or locally for this demo. We need to connect it to the Polygon Amoy blockchain, which is a separate system that's living on the internet, distributed network, yada, yada, yada. So for this is where the plugins come in. And we have a very good one, which is called, we have a couple of them. I'm just going to put them here. One of them is the EVM, and the other one is the GOAT plugin. So any of these two can give you out of the box functionality for EVM interaction or wallet interaction. And to define all of this information, we also need to get this from the .tmv file. So we will need, of course, in order to enable this, and once we see the code, we're going to see that we need a private key, we need a public key or an address to define the wallet that the agent is going to be using. That's the way it's going to interact with the blockchain. And we need to create, also we need an Alchemy or an RPC URL, which we suggest to use Alchemy. It's just one of the simplest to get. There are also like the public RPCs from Polygon, Amoy, and others. So, I mean, there are plenty of options, and we will define this on our .tmv. And once we get that connected, in our case, we will create a different plugin. So we want to integrate our contracts, and we're going to just call it plugin agent camp. So that's what we're going to be building today. And via this plugin agent camp, we're going to connect to the blockchain. And ideally, the definitions for our server, which will be the private key, private plus public key pairs. Both of these need to be defined inside our agent, and that's the way we're going to give it the blockchain functionality. We're going to give the agent a wallet. There are different ways to do this. We saw on last session that through AgentKit, we could very easily configure it on a UI, and then the agent is aware with it with the AgentKit plugin. So we're gonna take a similar approach, but this time we're gonna do it from the ground up. Are there any questions? So more or less, this is what we expect you to give out to deliver as part of our deliverables for this week. With the idea, you should be able to define a flow of more or less how the different systems in your solution or your agent, whatever you're building, how it works. And ideally, you can also help us define here. So we are going to charge 1 poll per each ERC20 token launch. And perhaps we are also going to launch an ERC20 token together each agent that's created on our platform. So it doesn't have to be like a super well thought out business model, but at least we would like to for you to give us a sense of, okay, so the agent's doing this action. In this case, it's executing a token launch. And if you're able to translate this task, whatever this task is, into a specific financial value, that's something that we are interested in, and we would like you to include in your submissions for this week, which should be before Thursday. Thursday, ideally, we're going to talk a little bit after that. We need to see how far along you are on the creation of the agents. Perhaps we extend a little bit the delivery date, because we know this is hard to grasp all of it. But yeah, we want you to at least have an idea of, okay, so out of all the flow, and whenever the user or the agent, because of a user's prompt, interacts with a blockchain smart contract, that's where we're going to charge some money. Maybe the agent's going to be handling its own ERC20 token over here, and it's going to, there's an interesting model by Virtuals that seems like they buy their own token back to kind of keep the supply lower. So that could be another potential idea. It's just a matter of you letting your imagination float around a little bit and see how you would charge for the service that your agent's going to be executing. So this is something that we would like to see. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just sketched this out in 10 minutes. It kind of gives you a sense of more of all the functionality or the components that I am considering and how I'm going to earn some money or how I plan to charge some money on this. Like I said, it all has to be just an image. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll work through this. And the idea is for you to be able to, if I want to apply for the ELIZA grants on Polygon, I at least have something that I have started with. I have a business model, I have a clear view of the system components that I'm going to need to develop or integrate. And that's going to put you much closer into a successful submission for the grants instead of just having you try to share your idea through text, which, believe me, even though it sounds very clear in your head, people aren't going to understand and people are not going to care unless you put like something much more tangible. And this is a step towards that direction. Of course, nothing beats a live demo, but this is a good step in that direction. So this is more or less what we're gonna build, and more or less what you need to deliver as part of the submission form. So I hope you got a sense of it. It's not super complex. It's not super hard. We just want you to state all of the things that are in your mind so we can visualize it in a much more graphic way. So without further ado, I think we can start diving into the code. Any questions until now?
There's a few we can burn through here real quick. Some of them are a little more specific, so we'll kind of keep it just at your first thoughts on the answer. Shrudi's wondering about a class about connecting databases. They're having the desire to learn more about how to link that all together. Let's see here. This one in particular, right? Can you also get into how agents can execute JavaScript commands? Like how can an agent let you transfer a token from a MetaMask wallet? We saw that with AgentKit, that a lot of it was like internally managed on transfers and stuff, and some people are wondering how to make it interact with elements on the front end.
Oh, on the front end, that's a tricky question. I believe there are ways that some agents kind of come with a web browser integration. Haven't really dived into that, so I'm not fully knowledgeable there. However, remember, a MetaMask account, or in a sense, we would need to create a channel to get this transaction being sent. And I guess the idea there would be for you to create the client similar to what is developed here on this client package. If you remember, whenever we run, let's just start the server. So here's pm start characters, and we are with the what was it, coach pool, if I'm not mistaken. Node version, yeah. Remember, we need to use node version 23. It's annoying, but that's how it is. And now we can start our character, and here we can start. So everything here should be working fine. And I'm just gonna check if we have any specific. Here we have the AgentKit actions. We need to remove them in a bit because we're not gonna use them. But yeah, okay, so the agent's running correctly, and here's the client. And now we click here. Well, here's how you would have to kind of create a link with the MetaMask account. So you would have to generate sort of a chat interface. You can just pretty much clone this chat interface. Hey there, Coach Pool. And ideally, this requires a little bit of thinking, but here your agent would need to throw out a transaction object that is accessible via a button in such a way like this. And you click it, and then it prompts you, like it connects with either your MetaMask account, or if you have a wallet like this one, like Frame, it should trigger it. Haven't done that yet. Seems like that would be the way to do it. if you want to experiment, just try to put a button here that says send transaction, and that's a good enough a demo or how it would build. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Yeah, and then just clarify, that's exactly what they're thinking too, right? It's more like front end has some predefined JavaScript functions, and the agent knows how to use them and send a command to the front end to execute those actions. So just like, how do you make that agent aware of these external tools?
Gotcha. Okay. So let me check something very quick here. I don't remember the branch we were before. Okay, I'm gonna switch to the coach pool branch. See if it. Okay, it logged.
Did we answer this question, Mel? Can you explain how the agent can execute JavaScript command? Can you send it, let it transfer a token from your MetaMask wallet?
I mean, it's just a server, so you would need to create a front end for that. It's not gonna automatically execute. Actually, the idea would be for it not to require this UI. So ideally, it would happen through Discord. Maybe generate. I guess it would need to eventually generate a linkable button or a linkable URL. But at the end of the day, it's just creating the functions and linking the agent to it. It's another server. It's another API call. So really, you will need to create the front end for that, and the agent's gonna be able to interact with it. Rather, we would prefer that the whole trend to be towards not requiring these interactions, and the agent handles these UX for the user. So that's where I think where everyone wants to go with the agents is towards that kind of no transaction required by the user, rather just wallets managed by the agents, created for the users, but handled by the agents, unless you want, you can fund those wallets through your wallet. I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll see in a bit how we can do that. Okay, so let's see. Here we are on our coach pool. Let me just save this. Say Coinbase. I'm just gonna put checkpoint. Okay. So let's just test it once again if it's running correctly, just so we know that we're not doing anything crazy. And we're going to remove the agent key plugin just so we don't have that anymore. So this is what we were working on last session. We are over here and we created we added a couple of API keys from Coinbase here on our, So remember, Eliza more or less for several plugins actually, it checks first on the .env file, and if it detects one of the Coinbase or like any API key in specific, as you can see in the agent runtime, when it loads the plugins, it goes and checks for the API keys of all the different plugins. So ideally, either we remove the ones that we're not going to use. So for example, let's get rid of the Solana one, which we're not going to use right now, or the Solana private key, it's not required. We're not going to use near either. It's autonomous JWT token. No, I'm going to leave this web search plugin because I'd like to use that in a bit. I'm going to leave this one for time being. Cosmos and Solana are going to go like this. Then the coin market, COG private key, Coinbase. All of these are very specific for different stuff. So just loading our code, we don't like that, so we're getting rid of it. We're gonna leave this one trusted execution environment because there's a way to use it. SGX, I don't know what this is.
Well, if you use Intel SGX, you won't. People sometimes complain that SGX is centralized in the sense that Intel was the creator of it, but it's just an additional security feature. I guess this TEE, having SGX or TEE would be a place where you might keep your secret, right? So you can see there, enable TEE. It says TE mode, enable wallet secret salt. So someone mentioned, we're talking a bit about wallets and agents. An agent should have its own wallet, but you can have hard-coded private and public keys in that wallet. However, that's not super secure because you're storing that private and public key somewhere on that GitHub or on some data store or in some local machine. So you have to be careful. If you start to publish that on a web server, someone can hack the web server and steal the key. But if you put that key salt into an SGX or TEE, you may be able to have a secret wallet that no one else can actually see the private key. So that would be a use case where you could give an autonomous agent its own wallet and have its own autonomy because no one can actually see or steal its wallet effectively, unless you can hack Intel SGX.
All right, correct. And that's a very good point, and actually something that I need to handle right now. For example, so I deleted all of the unnecessary bloat for this specific session, and we do want to enable a wallet. So that's something that we want to do. And for this, if you remember, I think we have one here that's kind of a placeholder wallet that I generated specifically for this session. So as you see, we are already having this kind of security important definitions that right now, for example, I need to put this here. And like Colin mentioned, it's inherently risky to just even having it stored as an environment variable, as a secret. It's already risky. So that's why the TEE is very interesting, because you can generate them without exposing it. Haven't really tested a lot of it, but that's something that definitely you need to take into account and be very careful when you use these private keys. So the usual suggestion is to just create a new wallet, like I just did here. It's a private key, completely empty. So I'm gonna put it here. In the meantime, if you use it, we're gonna send some test tokens. If you wanna steal them from us, fine. We don't, but yeah. So that's gonna be up there. And I also wanted to add sorry for the newcomer. Want to add the Alchemy URL that we will be using for communicating with the Polygon Amoy blockchain. So let's log in. Stop sharing just for a bit. And let's copy our API key on Alchemy. If you've ever used if you never used Alchemy, it's a very solid provider. It has a very generous free tier, so it's a good way to get started. Let's see. Okay, I copied this. Let me reshare my screen.
And Mel, you kind of are probably already addressing this with your actions here, but this is one of Juan's questions: is what are some of the pitfalls that we want to avoid when interacting with Web3 plugins? And it seems like just making sure you don't get confused or lost in all the bloat too is probably step one, right? Just stripping out things that you're not going to be using.
Yeah, in general, I guess that's just so you remove like stuff that's just not helpful or something like that. Other than that, I guess it's not like a big deal.
If you'd have left all those things in there and just keep your head clear, it doesn't hurt anything, right? It doesn't affect the build in any way.
Yeah, it's like a very ternary evaluation, so it kind of looks for the secret on the .env file. If you have it defined, it's gonna activate whatever plugin, and if it's not, then it doesn't. And you're gonna see, for example, the EVM one. We just put the EVM public key. I don't think it's stated like that. Public key. It already says that it's supposed to be deprecated. So you have to be careful just with this stuff, and make sure that you're using the proper variables here. So I'm gonna switch this. Ideally, should be more than enough like that. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna start a character. And right now we're by default enabling the EVM plugin. And let's take a look into what the EVM plugin has. So we go here and the plugin EVM, and we'll see that it has defined some actions, which are bridge, swap, and transfer. These actions are supposed to be enabled by default with the plugin and that provider, which is the wallet provider. So let's see if the actions were registered successfully. Okay, here we see that the transfer, bridge, and swap actions were registered. And there's another one that's registered under these swap tokens, all caps. So let's see if our swap action, these are exported as classes. Here's the bridge action, just lower caps. Here we have, again, I suppose, lower caps, and here lower caps. So there's another action called swap tokens that has been activated. And this is the something slipped by, and it seems that it was the Coinbase plugin, apparently. And the Gold plugin also has an action spelled the same. So this can be troublesome. So this is just like a little bit of hygiene that we need to take care of. I'm surprised that the EVM provider URL. So this one's probably the one that activated the Gold plugin. I'm just gonna delete it because we're not gonna use the Gold plugin. Even though it has some interesting utilities, like it's not a bad plugin on itself, but I think it's like they're creating a much more flexible plugin that's available for different frameworks. I've seen it working with Vercel AI, for example. It works rather well. I haven't experienced the same success so far on Eliza, and that's why I have a slight preference towards building my own, especially because I can start integrating more stuff. But it's also a good way to take a look and see how they are handling the EVM implementation. So let's restart the character. See, now that it should be working, it shouldn't have these swap tokens plugin call or action registered. Okay, now it's not here. And let's see if by any chance the agent actually knows that it has a wallet. Most of the times it doesn't come by default. So the agent's probably not gonna know that it has a wallet. So it's, hey there, do you have a wallet address that I can send you some tokens? It's gonna say no, I don't know, or maybe because why it would, even though we are creating a wallet for it. Let's see, CC186. I don't think that's one. Oh, it is. So it knows it has a wallet. Great.
Smart sucker.
Well, yeah. It wasn't hard. So the plugin EVM, as you remember, if you take a look into the provider, this is where they use Beam to create all of the wallet and all of the clients interfaces. The clients, I don't know if you have worked with smart contracts before. So if you go to the Beam documentation, it has a very good explanation of how it works and how to set up client and transport. And these are just like it says, the client and the transport, the channels through which we can communicate with specific blockchains. No, and we need to define those blockchains in a bit. For example, here it defines only mainnet, but in our case, we can actually ask the agent which blockchains do you have available, and it's gonna say a lot. So I think by default, it's gonna say Arbitrum, it's gonna say Polygon, it's gonna say Optimism. I think it always throws out like the largest 5 or something like that. So here, apparently, okay, it says only Ethereum mainnet. Do you have access to Polygon mainnet? currently, okay, seems like it doesn't register that it has access to Polygon, and we can fix that rather simply. So let's take a look into this wallet provider. And if you remember, we had three main blocks through which the plugins are created. The first one are the actions, which are the most basic blocks of executable tasks that the agent has access to. And these are very well defined, has an interface that's called action, even though they are not using it here. But you can see that there's like a structure that is expecting of an object, which has the name, description, handler, all of this. I believe we saw it last week on Monday. And this is something that you just need to always use. It has a small validation. It checks that it has an actual private key. Otherwise, it doesn't have these kind of it's going to say I cannot bridge because there's no private key, there's no wallet, so I cannot access this functionality. And then the handler and some examples. So for the swap one, it's very similar. It initializes a wallet provider, like the other type of blocks that we can use. For the transfer, it also has like all of its details. We have the evaluators, which we are not using on this specific plugin, the EVM, but we do have the providers. Providers is just a way to inject external data. It can be provided from an external platform such as Twitter or Firecaster. It can be something that's a wallet provider that has access to blockchain and to accounts. It can also be something as an API. It can be an access to your API, and you can have your methods defined here, your HTTP endpoints, your actions that are using those endpoints. And just think of it as an external system. Once again, like we were showing on the diagram, at the end of the day, it's just an external system that your agent is communicating through via endpoints or APIs. So that's what the providers are. Providers are kind of giving you this sneak peek into an external endpoint and getting you this information that's accessible on this system.
Mel, a quick question there too from earlier for our Solana friendly builders. Like, just what are the equivalents and how does this translate? Right, every time that you're writing ERC20, it's just SRC20, and it's just the contract pointings are different. It's that blockchain box in your diagram there is what changes, correct? Otherwise, the agent stack itself can be the same regardless of necessarily where you're trying to interact with the blockchain.
Correct. So it all boils down to the plugins and the information or the environment variables that your plugin needs. So the Solana plugin would need the private keys for Solana addresses or Solana accounts, the RPCs for Solana accounts, and whatever implementation of the contract, function calls. It's not using Beam. It uses Rust or something. Honestly, I have never built on Solana, but I believe there should be like its own standards of interacting with the contracts. There's plenty of examples here on the Solana plugin, which I suggest you take a look because they do have evaluators, and the evaluator that they built for the trust is actually very interesting. So it's a good one. Okay. So we have let me go back to the plugin. So we have already our EVM plugin here, and the wallet provider is working great. So let's say we want to create our own plugin now. We want to connect a specific smart contract that's connected to the Polygon blockchain. So let's see. For example, here we have some definitions for the EVM plugin, and it's using mainnet. It's using mainnet, and I want to take a look and make sure that the Polygon blockchain is loaded. Here it says the Beam chains, get address, get current chain. I mean, I guess the easiest one would be to just put it like this. Switching this Polygon definition here, get wallet client, get chain configs. Just taking a look here. Just want to make sure. Mainnet RPC URL. It's gonna change this to Polygon. Okay. Let's see if this works. I might need to run the pnpm build. If you remember, we are making a switch in the configuration of the whole plugin. So this small switch might require a rebuild. So that's why I ran it, just to be safe. Everything worked well, and now we'll see if we can get the Polygon mainnet information. Okay, do you have a Polygon mainnet balance? Okay, that's good. It seems like it detected this, and let's send to it a little bit of pollen. What was the wallet? B. The address. Okay. Send a little bit of. There we go. Send 2.5 to this one. Sorry.
By the way, kudos on the frame use. That's a real fun wallet.
It's very good for developing. Can just add a lot of RPCs. It has fallback RPC URLs. It gets a time to get used to because it doesn't load a lot of tokens and stuff. It's not the best for price and stuff, but there's a lot of options for that. Okay, so we just sent some tokens. Let's ask again the agent, see if it got. Can you recheck your balance? Okay, and it should say that it has 2.5 pole. Yikes. Oh yeah, because it's Polygon Amoy, right? It's not a mainnet. Let's see if we can switch that. So this should be just Amoy. And on our wallet, let's switch the whole Polygon thing into Polygon Amoy. So this is not gonna be super hard. I'm gonna put these. See if this works. Let's rebuild this stuff. And start character again. And I know this process sometimes is kind of boring. It is. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a lot of restarting and rebuilding. It's all part of it. But that's how we kind of test and just making sure that we're going through the proper steps. Nice. So we have the Polygon Amoy detected now. We have the 2.5 poll. So we know that our agent can detect its wallet address. It knows that it has balance. It has access to some functionality that comes built by the EVM plugin, which is great. We don't have to build a lot of stuff. That's already amazing. And in short, now that we have this, it's time to build our own plugin. So what we're going to do, we're going to save all of this that we have so far. So remember, let's just git all, git commit message, enable Polygon Amoy account management, and let's check out. No, I'm going to check out. I'm going to stay on this one, and now we're going to create our plugin.
And Mel, just one quick question from Juan Isaac. He's following along pretty actively. He wanted to know, why can't we import plugin packages with pnpm before we get into building our own?
Technically, you could. There's nothing stopping you. I'm pretty sure there's like Eliza on the repositories. I believe there's like a this one, community plugins. Nothing's really stopping you from installing them. Just make sure to follow the the full instructions, so you actually load the plugins correctly. Haven't seen which plugins are available, to be honest. So there's probably like way more than you see. I see Gitbook. I didn't know about that. Go Plus. There aren't that much, but yeah, you could technically just install them and make it available here. Haven't done that on my own, so I would need to check and just to make sure that I'm not saying something that's not. But
it might be something going on there. He's saying that he doesn't have access to PNPM add from the Eliza repository.
Okay. Yeah, let's check that later. Not sure how it worked, but I would need to check the documentation. Sorry.
Let's just figure out how to build our own.
Yeah. In the meantime, so for this one, we're going to follow Shaw's, who's the lead dev for Eliza. His suggestion was to just copy and paste the plugin, the Bootstrap plugin, and we're just gonna do that. So the Bootstrap plugin has like a very basic functionality that we are not gonna use, of course. But the most important things to keep in mind are whenever you do all of this, just make sure to be very careful with whatever you install here as a dependency. Remember, whenever you make a change here, since we are creating a plugin from scratch, technically, we are going to need to run the installation with the no frozen log file tag. Then we need to do the build, and then we can start our character. So whenever you make any changes to the package.json, make sure to reinstall and make sure to add the dependencies here and as well as in the agent runtime, which we will do in a bit. And if you do by any chance anything crazy that might need to be built, please make sure to take a look into this file called ts.config.ts. Sometimes things don't run very well or aren't built as Eliza expects it to be built, and it can have something to do with this. So just keep in mind that this is like a tip that happened to me last week. I was very frustrated for a couple of hours, and I switched something here, added a couple of things that I was missing from another plugin, and this worked. So it's a lot about making sure that every change that you do has like a reference, and especially if you're gonna be creating new dependencies or creating new functionality. Okay, so what I'm gonna do for these sections, I'm gonna remove everything except the index files, which are gonna be empty by themselves, but just to keep them there for us. So we're removing the basic actions that we copied from the Bootstrap plugin into our new agent camp plugin. We are also going to remove these evaluators. And we are going to leave, we're going to remove also these providers. Move to trash, okay. Okay, seems like now our basic things here should be working fine. Let's remove all of this and this, and we're going to create a very basic action called test action. Let's just remove this, and here we're going to say test action. Yes, and we are going to use cursor here for some little help. And we're also going to add, as part of the help, yeah, let's say this swap action, whatever. We only wanted to follow the the structure, like the proper interface. So we're going to say, please create a test action that logs out testing from Eliza. Please follow transfer action as reference. It should use the action interface to comply with Eliza requirements. And we enter, and it should just generate us a very simple test action. Perfect. So this to unknown. And let's just switch to test action. Okay. Should just that should be enough. So now that we created this, we can export this and include it in our index. So as you can see, it has all of the previous actions that we removed. So let's remove all of them. Let's just put our test action here. Import it, remove the evaluators, remove the providers, and Bootstrap plugin. No, we need to change this to Agent Camp plugin. There we go. Okay, so we just created our first plugin. We're just gonna, like I said, oh, one thing when I'm missing, the package.json, super important. Whenever you create a new plugin, especially since we are copying it from the plugin Bootstrap, it's gonna run through all of the different plugins that are available in the packages folder, and it's gonna throw an error because it's detecting a duplicate plugin called Bootstrap. So we just need to make sure that it uses our proper plugin, and in a bit we will create a dependency here because we will be using the wallet plugin that we were testing before, so we can get access to the Polygon Amoy blockchain. So here I'm going to run the installation command with the no frozen log file tag, and I'm gonna take a very quick break before we start diving deeper. I'd love to hear a couple of questions from the public while we wait for this to be installed.
Honestly, you're pretty well caught up on all the pending questions right now. They're right with you.
All right. Let's see. So it seems like something went wrong here. Let me see. Share my screen so you can see this because it's a weird error. So we tried to install something, but it didn't like it. So Discord.js, it's weird.
Someone actually, I think Trudy or someone was mentioning, I saw this just in Telegram earlier about that Discord Opus. They just commented that out, and it was giving them headaches to indefinite.
Okay, that's a good tip. Where?
I'll go hunt and let me see if I can find the direct reference. But yeah, I know someone they nuked that Discord Opus because that was giving them trouble too.
Yeah, see that I see it here, but Discord.js node modules. Yeah, this is when the fun part starts being unfun. when the we didn't do anything special, and it just starts failing out of the blue. So I'm gonna run the clean command. This is like also kind of a good practice to get into whenever you start getting this kind of issues. Why is it marking an error here? Not sure. So
I also want to announce that we're working on hosting Agent Camp in Denver and New York and San Francisco. So if you are in any of those cities, and then during ETHSF or ETH Denver, or in New York during February, or during January and February, we can have some events in person and we can help you out. I actually have to go run and go confirm one of our spaces for Denver so we can have Agent Camp in Denver. Excited. It will be smaller classes size. So where we have hundreds of people watching this, we'll probably only have a dozen or 2 dozen people in person. So, when you see the invite for the next Agent Camp Denver or New York or SF, go apply, and we'll hope to meet you in person. We'll select also if you are one of the demos on this Agent Camp, that'll obviously we'll want to include you in our future Agent Camp. So I encourage you guys as a reward to build something for us and show it to us, submit something to the form, I think Kale sent out the form, but let's fill out the form, and then we'll know who you are, and we'll make sure that you get approved for the in-person agent camps. So I'm gonna go get our Denver agent camp booked. Hopefully at the Polygon Ag Cave. I'm pretty excited about this. So
right on, Colin. Yeah, make it happen. They want to know when we're headed to Berlin too.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, that's a great point. So if you have an idea of hosting your own boot camp, if you have co-working space, Beta Haus in Berlin would be a great space, or Blockhaus, I think is the name. So if you know a space, Bomba Labs down in Rio de Janeiro, Crecimiento, Aleph, if you have a space and you want us to do agent camp and you want to help organize and lead, reach out to us. Maybe we should add that to the form too. So we'll host these agent camps all around the world. We're just scaling up right now. You're in version 1. So, all right.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Do let us know. We'd love to support over there. And yeah, regarding this, like I said, sometimes this building kind of gets ugly or like dirty. So run the pnpm clean command, and after that, I installed again, and this time everything worked. So seems like we're good to go. A couple of problems, not a problem, but something that we forgot. So we created a plugin, but we never installed it into our proper agent. So we need to include it in the package.json here. And let's put it over here. It should suggest it to us. Perfect. And also include it in the agent runtime over here. Just make sure that our plugin is being imported. Of course, it's gonna show that it's not available because we haven't built it. So we need to reinstall. Hopefully this time should be faster because it's just one installation. Hopefully, yeah, it's taking a little bit longer. But in the meantime, I'm also going to show what we created and what we are going to be connecting right now. So we have this smart contract that's called Token Launcher here that I created on Hardhat. It has more things that I wanted to the AI to use for creation, but it has like a lot of stuff here already. This contract has already been deployed. Give me 1 second so I can share the contract address, so because we were gonna need it. 1 second. Where was this? Should be here under this wallet deployer. Okay, and I need Polygon Amoy testnet. Okay, that one's loading. So the installation has been completed. Let's just run the build command now. And in the meantime, we'll also make sure this should be available now for us to import. Let's just put here, import agent camp plugin. Something failed here. DTS build. Oh yeah, I kind of hate this one. I had it before. Let's see. Let's try again the clean and the install and rebuild. This one could be related to in our plugin. You're really not adding anything special, so there shouldn't be an issue here. Just ElizaOS core. It's gonna remove this. What? I need to remove this one. These node modules one, since we copied from the Bootstrap plugin, it might be putting like stuff that we don't need. And it's weird that this has happened to me before, that the ElizaOS core stops being built correctly. Last time that I remember, the issue was related to the tsub config file, but because I wasn't importing a couple of dependencies that needed to be defined very specifically. But in this case, we are not doing anything weird or adding anything special on our plugin. We actually deleted most of the stuff. So it's a weird bug. Hopefully, with the removing of the node modules and reinstalling, let's see if this helps. So I'm gonna leave this installation to complete, and in the meantime, we are going to, since we want to connect to an external blockchain, in this case the Polygon Amoy, we want to connect to a smart contract. So we need to import a couple of utility files. So let's say, why is this not okay? Maybe it's because it's running the installation. It's not allowing me to do anything right now. So let's wait for it to finish.
Well, let's finish in there. I just dropped the link. You guys can go ahead and bookmark the last agent survey here so we can start getting y'all's feedback and y'all's progress reports, any repos. If you've got interest in hosting your own agent camp, things you like most about agent camp during this entire session, and getting ourselves all prepped up for Thursday.
Yeah, we're still having this issue again. Node models, AI SDK, language model V1. I don't know why is this coming up here. Let's see if I can find it somewhere over here. Yeah, no clue here. Okay. I'm gonna skip. I know this is not the ideal one, but I had like a fallback plan for this.
Smart man.
Yeah, let's see status. So I'm just gonna checkpoint, because we were working with this plugin. Let's see the branches. Yeah, okay. Check out it. Plugin. So this is something that I had been working on last week too. So
when aren't you working on this stuff?
It's because of stuff like this that drives me crazy. So yeah, so we have our proper agent camp plugin finished here, and actually what I did was kind of replicate the EVM plugin, but we are not using the EVM plugin. We are using the provider. It's a carbon copy of the provider that's available by the EVM plugin. This is interesting. Maybe I need to run installation. So let me see here. Application. So we do have this one here. I don't know why the node modules not accepting, but we can do. Oh. And after that, let's take a look into the actions. So here, for example, you see I created a very specific action to get the wallet address, and it has like a much more detailed conversation or examples of how it's supposed to be delivering it. In the test action that we had before, it was like very similar one, just test action. We have an evaluator. No, we don't. We'll create one in a bit. And we have our wallet provider. Like I said, this is very similar to the one that we had on the EVM plugin. And now, hopefully this doesn't fail now. Great. So ideally now here on our provider, this one is installed. Perfect. I'm just gonna check that our agent runtime is properly configured. Of course, here we didn't delete any of the stuff. I hadn't deleted, but I already made sure that the Goat plugin and the Goat plugin. Now let's remove it here, and let's remove the EVM plugin. Just to make sure we don't have anything weird over there. of this building right now. And the agent plugin should be also, okay, it's not here yet. Okay. Let's remove this stuff. It's creating noise. We have so much errors. What's another one? Plugin numbers. Yeah. Okay, seems like everything was built correctly. Did we add it on the package.json here? Login is not here. Let's make sure. I'm not detecting it anymore. Plugin agent camp, package.json, plugin agent camp. It's not here. Let's add it in that case. Okay. Used to like me better before. There we go. Let's reinstall. Wait, this. Install. Once this is installed, we should be able to get it over here in our agent camp plugin. And put it here. Okay. 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 That was a lot of turns just to get it running. Seems like it didn't find our agent. Let me switch branches and make sure that we have it. Which pool? Could be. Okay, now let's check out here. It's probably just that the file was not committed together with the character. It is here now, so just copy all of this. Check out back to our branch. Camp. And yeah, exactly, that was the issue. Character.json. Okay, it should be fine now. And let's start also the client here. And now that everything's working back again, let's try to speed through this and add the proper EVM smart contract communication here. So let's create first a folder here called deep, and we're going to create the token launcher API.ts, and here we're going to say support const token launcher API. Over here, I have it ready. So this is the smart contract, and I already compiled it. So I should have the artifacts over here. Where was it? Oh, correction. They haven't been generated here. It's here. Perfect. So here's the API. Let's just copy this array. So whichever smart contract you create, remember that the API is like the blueprint on how any EVM client is going to configure the communication, and it has all the definitions of each event, functions that you define in your smart contract. So it's like how you translate it from human readable contract into the bytecode that the blockchain is going to be using. So you need this, whichever smart contract that you want to use, you need an API for it. If it's even just an ERC20 API, that's fine. You can use the one that Beam has by default. So now we have our token launcher smart contract here, and we can create an action called let's test first and see if this is here. Either do you have a wallet address? And we'll need to change again the Polygon thing, but let's let's wait for a bit. Let's first create the token launcher action. This one's way too long. There we go. Okay, perfect. So this is working, and we're going to create this launch token action.ts, and we're going to add a couple of samples here. So if you ask me, the ideal ones would be to have something like maybe the transfer one, the plugin medium, this one, and the goat one. Okay, so we added a couple of actions. Perfect. Please create a launch token action. Use the I didn't add the other one. Transfer. Let's also add the Solana one just in case. Maybe it has some good reference. And other added files as reference. The function is defined in, and we also need to add the API. Token launcher API.ts file. Please follow the action interface. And let's see what Cloud comes up with. Very good, very good. I'm seeing already like the template and some stuff generated, and we'll go step by step so you can take a look into all of this information that has been generated. Like I said, this is fun. This is cool that so much code gets generated by Eliza, but you probably are thinking, wow, how am I supposed to know if this code is correct or not? And that's where that's very suggested to add references and other kind of definitions from other plugins, so Eliza doesn't hallucinate a lot because it's going to hallucinate a little bit at least. Okay, so let's go through the code. We'll go through the imports. These are some basic interfaces that are required for the token launcher. So name, symbol, total supply. The forecaster ID, this is taken from Clanker, which takes this kind of social integration as well. And it also takes the social proof, which is the cast hash. If you use the forecaster, you know that each message or each publication has a hash, which is related to the proper message that is published on the network, yada yada. Launch token content is also something very similar. The only thing that is missing is the salt, which is generated for the token launch only. So I guess this is like a similar interface, but it's not very used. Launch token template, this is part of the evaluations. Whenever you see on Eliza a template defined constant, that means that is a prompt that is going to be injected into a determined step of the evaluation process of an action or evaluation, as it says. What does this mean? So for example, for this very specific action, if you just say, or you just try to ask the agent, hey, I want you to launch a token, it's going to say, yeah, okay, great. Maybe I have the API available. Maybe I have the action defined. But how am I supposed to know as an agent or as an LLM how to process all of this into a much more structured response that can actually generate a token launch according to the existing ABI or smart contract definition that I have available. So this is where the prompting or the prompt engineering comes. So we instruct the LLM very clearly of what we are expecting as an output. And this is part of prompt engineering that you need to take into account. So in this case, we're defining very clear. If you remember, whenever we communicate with blockchains, we are using JSON RPCs. So we are exchanging messages with the blockchain systems, with the EVM in this case, via JSON. So that's why we are instructing it. And this is something that Claude interpreted with the examples, that it needed a JSON markdown block. And we tell it, okay, only extract the following values. Use null for any values that cannot be determined. And the example response is going to be exactly this structure that we're going to need to launch a token. And as it is defined by this interface, if you see, we have the same properties. So that's why we're using this one. And then it injects all of the recent messages. This is a templating handlebars kind of a syntax. And here we're going to, what the LLM is going to do is going to inject all of the previous messages. So it looks for this information: the name, the symbol, the total supply, the FID of the user, the image URL, and the social proof, as you can see here. And then it says response, respond with a JSON markdown, blah, blah. Okay, so that's a template. That's the processing of, okay, it's not gonna go further unless it knows that it has extracted this data, and it's probably going to ask you once again, repeatedly, until it has all of the required information. And that's also what this function is for. It requires apparently all of these variables, which are part of the launch token content. Then the action definition: launch token, blah blah, create token, deploy token. Okay, validate. We're not running any special validation, and the handler is where the magic happens. So first, it's gonna check if there's a state. This is the fun part, but also like the tricky. So when you think about ELIZA and LLMs, what really changed on how it behaves from a very simple Siri or Alexa like AI that was present, I don't know, 5 years ago, it was precisely the managing of this context and this state. So that's where the whole conversation comes in. So it can be handled as a state variable and gets injected into the handler. So you always have these 5 arguments available on the handler. The first one is the agent runtime, which has a lot of functionalities. Like, seriously, I wouldn't be able to spell it out all for you. You need to take a look into how other people are doing the whole plugins. But as you can see here, one of the methods that this agent runtime has is this compose state method. And in short, you will use this just to create like a history of the whole conversation that's been happening with the agent. In case that it is not available, we can generate it from the previous message. That's where what the message object here is. It's type memory, but this is weird. It's a weird definition.
Similar to history.
Yeah, it's similar to history, similar like a message. It's just all of the messages that the agent runs are stored as memories. So you can also see whenever we communicate with the agent, you see that the logs are creating memories. So that's why it's type memory, but at the end of the day, it's still a message. The state, like I mentioned, is like the whole context that's been coming. Options, we're not even using them, so let's just wait. I don't want to say something that I don't know. And the callback is more of a kind of a feedback function that lets the agent log out what's happening behind the scenes. So, for example, if you're running an async function like we're going to do right now, we're going to use the callback function to let the user know that the agent's running a process. Maybe it's deploying the token and please wait, deploying token. And once we get the confirmation, then we can log back the proper hash. So it's most of a UX thing. So that's the definition for the handler, the 5 arguments, and it returns a promise. So the first thing that we do is we kind of get the state, get the whole context of the agent. We're gonna need it. So we need to make sure that it's available, and if it's not available, we create it from the previous messages. Then we instantiate our wallet provider once again. This is something that we already built. Let's switch this up to Polygon. Amoy. We need to switch back all of that stuff again. Then we need this part is when we are going to start doing the proper handling. So first, we're going to compose context, and this compose context function, what it is doing is it's taking the existing context that has been generated on the state, as you can see here. That's what you pass as one of the first arguments, the state. And second, you generate this template, which we already reviewed, the launch token template, and it's going to inject this template into the whole state to get like a new evaluation, like a reprompt of the request, but with these new instructions that are defined in these templates. And that's mostly how you will see a lot of different plugins being developed, is through this kind of templating and injecting it and creating like a new context out of it. So once we get the context, we also get the generate object deprecated. This is a very specific function that generates a JSON object from text. So that's exactly what we asked back the agent. If you remember on the template here, respond with a JSON markdown. So that's why we are using this one. Even though it says deprecated, I guess that's because the V2 is coming soonish apparently, but you can still use it. So what we're doing here is we are making sure that we generate the proper object that we are requiring from the LLM or the agent via the launch token template. That's what we're doing here. Then we evaluate if this object was generated properly with this function that we reviewed up here. It just returns true or false. If it is true, then it's going to properly. If it's false, it's going to say this, throw an error. Here we ideally would handle the error. We'll see if it's handling it okay. And if everything looks well, then we create this token config object out of the information that's generated from the template that was extracted from the conversation of the user and the agent. Then we get this token launcher address. This one seems like it created it out of nowhere, but I would suppose that this is a definition that we need, of course. Let's just hard code it in the meantime. I don't think we need to. Yeah. And let me get this address very quick on data. 1 second, guys. It's over here. Is this a contract? Contract creation. Okay, I have the contract now. Okay, it is here. It's one some Polygon Amoy. And let me reshare my screen. Okay, yeah, and we're almost on the hour, but yeah, this is like the hardest part. So this is the address of the contract. So Polygon Amoy address. Polygon Amoy deployment. Save this. If there's no token launcher address, that's fine. Gonna use this ABI and the client. Here we have an error. Let's see what's. If you pass a wallet client, the following methods are available. Okay, it's fast one. It's just doing that. Didn't like it. So a client, expected client, which is here. So the wallet client was instantiated here. Okay. I think it needs the account, not the. Now let's see. So we have the get contract. I'm sharing my screen, right? Okay. Thanks. So it's expecting a client of type client. Okay. If you pass a wallet client, the following methods are available. So we should be able to have a wallet client here. However, see if this wallet client is a provider. Okay, provider. Wallet secret salt, derived key. Wallet provider. Okay. Yeah, this is strange. Property. Type accounts not assignable to a public wallet, never. I think this wallet client's not very good. Okay. Then I'm gonna have to go to the.
I came with news.
Yeah. Looks like you were successful, huh?
I was very successful. Agent Camp is on for Denver, everybody. Can I get some GMs or everybody in the chat? If you're going to ETH Denver, and if you don't know what ETH Denver is, go to ethdenver.com and go apply right now. You have to apply to get into ETH Denver, but you don't need to apply to get into Agent Camp Denver. We will have a special Agent Camp hosted at a beautiful co-working space called VentureX, and we will be hosting it in downtown Denver. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have a space for up to 100 people. That's crazy. Every morning during the week of ETH Denver, you can come and take our boot camp. And then in the afternoon, you can stick around. We'll have lunch every day. We'll have awesome talks from Polygon and other cool startups in the afternoons. There'll be some night events too, but everyone wants to go out and do something. But wake up early. Early bird gets the worm, and we'll all get to work in the morning at Agent Camp, and then we can roll on over to ETH Denver as a team on the 27th. But we'll still have office space where you can come and hang out and get collaborate with us. So each of us will have an office hour each day. You guys can come and find me during office hours. I don't know what it'll be, probably like 1 to 2 p.m. every day. You can come and find me at our awesome aggregation cave hosted by Polygon and Dabl Club. It's gonna be awesome. Whoop, whoop. Let's get some whoop whoops.
Egg Cave is one of my favorite running traditions from the Polygon team now. It's a fantastic space. Nice way to get away from the sport castle for a little bit, catch your breath.
Oh, you mean from the rodeo center? There's two. The sports castle was a couple years ago. The last 2 years have been at the rodeo center, which does kind of smell a little like rodeo center.
It does.
Back to our scheduled programming. Let me interrupt, Mel.
Good job, Kyle.
No, not a problem. Yeah, we're having a small issue here with the wallet client implementation. So
always got to get dramatic at the end.
Yeah. I know that we're getting the wallet client correctly. Public, never, wallet, never, public. So it does look like it has to be like this. However, still she removes the nested. Oh, it's not. That's exactly how it's not supposed to be. But okay. Yeah. So you can see. Public, never, wallet, never. Let me take a look very quick here. So we have on our Agent Camp plugin our package.json. So we're not importing our Vim. It's not here, but it is here. And create wallet client. So we should just get the wallet client. I think we're already doing that. Yeah. So maybe it's something because I'm sorry, something as dumb that is probably gonna make me angry, but seems like we only had to switch the polygon amoy definition. So once again, these minor things that sometimes slip by us just because we think it's gonna work. Let's just switch everything. Yeah, like that. I don't know if this is gonna work, but yeah, this doesn't seem like it. Wallet does not exist in type. It's something very dumb. You see, get contract ABI address. So that one's fine. This suggestion just doesn't work. It very clearly says that the client has to be defined like this. Okay. And then we need to create this kind of stuff here, but it doesn't like it. Type in is not type. But still wants to do whatever he wants. Like, I hate it. No. That sounds like it. Well, I teach them. Nah, this doesn't make any sense.
I hate to stop you. I sometimes you have these breakthroughs on live, and that's always fun to see. But we might have reached the limit of our brain today, huh?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's some very dumb stuff. Also, like it's not even agent related. There's just something that's not been generated well on the client for this.
Once we start changing those little simple variables, it's very easy to miss something.
But yeah, let me take a look. Need to just review this. I'll make sure to post a video once I get it done, just to show that the final interaction, how the token launch would look just from interacting with the agent. And this is also part of what I wanted to talk about. So we know that the building is slow, and as you can see, there's a lot of hiccups here and there. So we will extend the delivery until Sunday. So let's have another session next week on Thursday, just to
finalize all this.
All of this, finalize the delivery. Make sure what we are expecting as part of the deliveries for the agent camp, submissions, and also making sure that you are already signed up for the ETH Global Agentic Hackathon. So if you haven't signed up, just so you are already participating, everything that you build there, you can also submit it. Just try to time it well. And we'll make sure to have all of the information of the submissions and what we are expecting in the tracks, in the Notion, and we'll go through them also on Thursday. So rest assured that we're getting there. It's not the simplest, but it is part of the fun.
So yeah, to be clear on that then too, no expected like completion deliverables as of this Thursday's session. This Thursday will be a continuation and we'll finalize builds and then expect those deliverables after the fact of this Thursday session. Does that sound right?
Correct.
Got it. All right. We'll make sure to use the Notion doc too. That's at agentcamp.dev. We'll see if we can get this follow-up video once Mel figures out how to squash this. He'll do a little standalone record, and I'll put that as well on our agentcamp.dev and our YouTube channel, so that way you can see the follow-up video for it. And you'll be able to kind of see how what he found and how he solved it. And then we'll be ready for Thursday to help get you guys over the finish line, get your agents working the way that we want them to be, the way you want them to be. We're going to take a screenshot of that Excalidraw diagram that Mel drew for us earlier. We'll make sure that that's in the Notion as well, so that way you can have something to work off of and start ideating about what your particular agent flow looks like, and then get that drawn out in your own way. And it sounds like we're not quite ready yet for the finish line, so we're going to stretch things out a little bit. We'll focus on next Thursday being our follow-up session, our part 4 of our ElizaOS builds, because these are not easy things. People have already made comments in our Telegram too. It's almost changing by the time we get to Agent Camp's conclusion. You know, from the moment you started this, Mel, to where we're ending, things are already changing so rapidly. So valiant effort, but we appreciate you diving us through it today.
No, not at all. My pleasure. You know, this one's part of the fun thing. So yeah, we'll make sure to have this much better explained with the full flow. We want you to be out there launching tokens. We want you to have fun with the agents. So this is also part of our priority. And yeah, we'll make sure to share the once we get the breakthrough, which we always do. You know it.
Colin, any parting words? Again, congratulations getting that Denver location locked up. I know we've been working on that for a little bit, so that'll be exciting to offer folks that. And yeah, I'll let you sign off here, and then we'll wrap this thing. Oh, you're still muted, brother.
I want to remind everyone to fill out the survey. So if you are ready to submit something, you can submit the right on our Agent Camp website. So if you go to the Agent Camp Notion and go down to the bottom, you can find the survey. You can also paste the URL in here too. So just go take the survey. We'd love to see what agents you guys are building, or what else you are building, that even if it's not agents, we'd love to hear what you're building and have you on the show so you can come and present as part of demo day. We'll have prizes we have not announced yet that will get you very excited. And we'll also be hosting agent camps in the future where you can then come and talk about what you built. So hope you guys fill out the survey, and hope to see some awesome projects that you guys are building. Thanks, guys.
All right, Mel, say goodbye to all your friends here.
You guys, stay tuned. We will upload like smaller chunks here. And yeah, thanks for bearing with us. I know it's not easy. It's not super easy here, but that's part of the challenges that we come up with builders. So if you're here, it's because you are growing, and trust me, we will get there. We will get there, and we will create this fun token launcher and more stuff before you blink.
I know you won't give up on it. It's a lot easier to learn together than it is to learn alone. This stuff is tricky and challenging.
Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for kicking off the week with Agent Camp. We look forward to next Thursday. Check in on the Notion. You'll see the link to the next session so you can get registered. You'll see the link to the survey. And again, if you have any specific follow-up questions between now and then, dabl.chat is the place to be. You'll find us in Telegram. We can work through this stuff together. Have a wonderful day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.